Mark, why don't you get us into the recap of issue 43?
We open in Harlem Hospital, and Peter is making good of his random aside from last issue that Randy Robertson was nearly fatally shot some time ago, setting off the gang war. Remember that? He suggested that he should probably visit him and reminds readers that this entire arc is about doing right by Randy. So he's finally doing exactly that and nothing more. Thanks for the check-in, Spidey. Robbie tells Spidey to get her done, and Spidey rendezvous with his squad, who he really hasn't hung out much with since this all started, and Tombstone's there too, of course. And then they go off to end a gang war. We're back in Central Park, where a bunch of villains are staring each other down in broad daylight, and just when you thought the stereotype of New York City that's on Fox News every night couldn't be more true, here you go. Madame Mask is telling Beetle and the Syndicate that if they give up their territory, she'll make them rich. But Janice says that they're a startup gang of villains and don't have much of overhead. And I'm thinking, but wouldn't an infusion of capital at this stage be welcomed? I digress. So Mask shouts out, Malakatai! Did I get it right, Dan? I don't know. But maybe I gotta do it with the fingers. Malakatai! And it sounds like a game about a gorilla and a Jumpman. Digger gets after it while Shotgun starts firing away. Janice and Madame Mask stare each other down, and then Mask just starts firing all over the place from her magic amulets, and it's not looking pretty. However, Mask is told to look up, and she says, oh drat. No, it's not the Cosmic Cube dropping from the Thanos copter, but She-Hulk and the Spidey Squad. Miles tells Peter to do his thing, and Jessica Drew and Elektra also get their witty banter in while hitting folks. We get a rhyme from Rabble about how she's going to kick Miles' ass for Mask. And then that leads to a showdown between Shotgun and Tombstone. Just before we see them throw hands, we bounce over to Spider-Man, and he confronts Madame Mask, who he calls dibs on for setting his city on fire. And I probably would have been more into that if we didn't spend 2 issues bantering with the Kingpin and Typhoid Mary, only for them to pull out of the story altogether. But I digress again. Spider-Man lets Mask know that he might lose his friend due to her war, and she seems unapologetic about it and starts fighting back. Meanwhile, Rabble and Miles face off, and Rabble makes fun of Miles' sword, and she's clearly speaking for me here. Also, Elektra fights Silvermane, and Jessica Drew fights Count Nefaria. Just about everyone pairs off, like it's a high school party, and I'm left alone holding a red Solo cup and describing how the Hobgoblin isn't actually Ned Leeds. Too real, Zeb. Too real. Then we circle back to a fight with actual stakes as Tombstone finally gets his revenge on Shotgun, smacking the snot out of him. He hits him so hard, Shotgun forgets why they're fighting because Tombstone broke the sigil that has him brainwashed. Dan, this is giving me Sinister War vibes, where I was the one who forgot why everyone was fighting. Either way, Tombstone speaks for all of us when he says you can't blame a magic tattoo on everything that's been happening, but Shotgun assures us that's actually the case. He's been working with the government from before this whole gang war started, and he was doing some recon on the real perceived threat. Dun dun dun! Janice Lincoln. Lonnie is in shock. Anyway, so Lonnie punches Shotgun for good, but then goes looking for Janice, who's biding her time and waiting for the scrum to die down. Back to Spidey, and he's still on Mask, who sicks Owl on him. Spidey takes down Owl in one punch, just to remind everyone that he's a chump. So then we get a double-page splash of Mask saying, kill Spidey! But Spider-Man gets the jump on her before the story flashes over to Janice and Lonnie, seemingly having a moment. Tombstone didn't realize what Janice was becoming, and Janice shoots him down by telling him she doesn't care what he thinks anymore. So in typical domineering dad fashion, Tombstone rips off her beetle wings and conks her in the head. He lets her know whoever wins today will have to be a monster to own everything, and that's not going to be her. It's his cross to bear.